Growing up as a kid, yeah. All a nigga wanna have was a Burberry scarf and $3 in my pocket. Instead I got beat with a switch, but I don't give a fuck, but it's on my body. Scars all up on me, but I run around from.
What is up, everybody? It's JT Sportsman at you guys with another video. This video I'm here with my Miami Dolphins 2020 NFL record prediction. Going to be giving my game by game, week by week predictions of how I feel the Miami Dolphins season will go. And before I get into it, make sure that you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel because I upload NFL videos and college football videos daily. Also, make sure that you hit the little bell icon right next to the subscribe button because it will alert you every time I upload a new video. YouTube hasn't been sending out notifications when I upload for some odd reason, so make sure that you guys go ahead and hit that button for the notifications just in case. So this is a Miami Dolphins team that I really like a lot. This is without a doubt one of the most improved teams in the NFL going into this year. Now, the offensive line is fairly young, but hopefully it should be a lot better compared to what it was last season. And the defense should be a lot better than what it was last season as well, especially considering the fact that you have two of the top 10 cornerbacks in the NFL on your roster. You got Byron Jones, who you picked up in free agency, and you got Xavier Howard. So this is a Miami Dolphins team that I really love a lot. I love Brian Flores, but him and his coaching staff that the Miami Dolphins have, they're going to have their work cut out for them this season because this is a really tough schedule. They have one of the toughest schedules in the NFL going into this season. So week one, you got to start the season out on the road in New England. We already know how that goes. A lot of weird stuff happens when you got to travel on the road to Foxborough. But if there is any team that could pull off the victory, I think the Miami Dolphins could do it. So I think the Miami Dolphins get the victory over the Patriots week one on the road in New England. Week two, they have to face the Buffalo Bills. A lot of people feel the AFC East is basically Buffalo's to lose. I probably would agree with that sentiment there. Week two, I think the Buffalo Bills get the win over the Miami Dolphins. Week three, they got to travel on the road a few hours away from Miami, traveling down to Duval and the non-fold Jacksonville on a short week Thursday night. I'm going to take the Dolphins to win that game. I don't think Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be all that great. And after the first 3 weeks, this is when the schedule gets really, really tough. I mean, they're going to be facing a lot of good teams from this point out. It doesn't really get easy. You get a few easy breathers along the way. You get a few alright bad teams. But for the most part, a lot of the teams that they face after week three are most likely going to be in the playoffs or going to be in playoff contention or going to be Super Bowl contenders. So you start that tough stretch off with the Seattle Seahawks. So Seattle comes to your home territory. They got to travel on the road to Miami. The Dolphins got the home field advantage there. But I'm still going to take Seattle to win that game because Seattle is the better team overall. I think the Dolphins could play the Seattle Seahawks pretty closely with how good their defense is. But overall, I just don't think they're going to be able to put up enough points offensively to keep up with the Seattle Seahawks. Week 5, you got to go on the road to face the 49ers. I'm taking the 49ers to win that game. The Miami Dolphins have a young offensive line, and they're really going to have their work cut out for them against the San Francisco 49ers, who have one of the best defensive lines in all of the NFL. Week 6, you got to travel on the road to Mile High to face the Denver Broncos. That's also a pretty tough place to play in as well. The Denver Broncos are going to be really good, especially on the offensive side of the ball. You're going to have Drew Lock, who showed a lot of promise last year. You also got to worry about the guys who they drafted from this past year's NFL draft. You got to worry about Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Cortland Sutton. So, I mean, that offense is going to be really good. The Dolphins really match up well when it comes to their secondary compared to the Denver Broncos wide receiver position. But overall, I'm going to take Denver to get the win there. Week 7, they're back home after a very brutal road stretch when they had to go on the road, face the 49ers, face Denver. Now you travel back home, you got to face the LA Chargers. I'm going to take the LA Chargers to win that game. The LA Chargers are going to have one of the best defenses in the NFL this upcoming season. I mean, you probably got a top 5 secondary. You got a very good group when it comes to being able to get pressure on the quarterback. And the offensive line is pretty solid as well, despite who the quarterback is going to be, rather if it's Justin Herbert or Tyrod Taylor. They got the pieces around them to be successful. So I'm going to take the Chargers to win that game there. So going in 2-5, week 8, basically nearing the midpoint of the NFL season. Now week 8, they have to face the LA Rams. I'm going to take the Rams to win that game. the Rams are like a weird team. Like, you don't know how good they're going to be. You don't know if they're going to be average or if they're going to be mediocre or if they're just going to end up making it to the playoffs. But I'm going to take the Rams to win that game. I think the Dolphins could win that game as well, but overall, I'm just going to take the Rams there to win that game. Week 9, they got to travel on the road to Arizona to face the Arizona Cardinals. This is another game that could go either way. Like, both of these teams are fairly young, heading in both for the right directions. Both got pretty good young coaches. I'm going to take Miami Dolphins to win that game. I don't really think Arizona's defense is going to be all that great this year. Miami's going to have the upper hand. And plus, when you look at the Arizona Cardinals defense, I mean, they're only thing they really have is Chandler Jones, really. That's pretty much the only dominant one-on-one pass rush who they have. Their secondary is a little bit questionable as well. So I'm going to take Miami to win that game there. So at this point, the Dolphins have a record of 3-6 going into Week 10. Week 10, they have to face the New York Jets at home. I'm going to take them to win that game there. I don't think the Jets are going to be all that good this year. I think they may be one of the worst teams in the NFL. Week 11, they have a bye week, which is a pretty ideal point where you want to have your bye week because it's late in the season. A lot of players can get well rested and things like that. So week 12, they got to go back and re-face the Jets once again. I'm going to take New York to win that game. I don't think the Miami Dolphins are going to sweep the New York Jets. So the Dolphins are 4-7. Week 13, they have to face the Cincinnati Bengals once again. We saw it happen last year. Last year when the Bengals and the Miami Dolphins played, it was one of the more awkward, weird, and entertaining games of the season. Weird because it was basically the tanking bowl to see who's going to end up being who's going to have the #1 overall pick of the 2020 NFL Draft. So it's going to be really interesting to see who wins this game this go around. I'm going to take Cincinnati to get the victory. I like Cincinnati to win this game because I think their defensive line is really underrated. I think they have one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. You got Carlos Dunlap, you got Geno Atkins, you got Sam Hubbard, and I don't think this Miami Dolphins offensive line is going to be able to handle that pressure that the Cincinnati Bengals have up front, which is why I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals to win that game there. Now, a lot of Dolphins fans probably going to feel this can go either way or such and such. Like, you can say the same thing about the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line being questionable as well, but the Miami Dolphins don't have the defensive line that the Cincinnati Bengals have, which is one of the best in the NFL. Week 14, I have to face the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm taking Kansas City to win that game without a doubt. Now, one thing that is pretty noteworthy about that matchup is that the Miami Dolphins, at least from a defensive standpoint, match up pretty well with the Kansas City Chiefs offense. When you look at Byron Jones, you look at this Xavier Howard, and you look at this Kansas City Chiefs wide receiving core, this Miami Dolphins defense, they have speed, they have the players and the secondary to match up well with Kansas City. But my question is, will the Miami Dolphins be able to score enough points to keep up with the Kansas City Chiefs? I don't think they will be able to do so. Week 15, I have to face the New England Patriots once again. I had them taking the victory week 1. I got the New England Patriots splitting with the Dolphins this year. I don't think the Dolphins are going to be good enough to sweep the New England Patriots this year. Regardless, Brady or no Brady, I don't think that's going to happen. So, week 16, they have to face the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going to take the Dolphins to win that game. Like, the Las Vegas Raiders, like, you don't really know, like, they're in the same category with the LA Rams. Like, you don't really know what to expect from the Las Vegas Raiders. Like, we know they're a playoff team based on how good their offense is, but the question is, can they get some stops on defense? Now, they did pick up a couple of key guys in free agency, but, I mean, they were pretty average pickups at best, in my opinion, besides picking up Corey Littleton. So, I think that is a game that the Dolphins should be able to win. Week 17, they face the Buffalo Bills. I want to take Miami to win that matchup this go-around. Same for the fact that I really like the Dolphins this year. I don't think they're going to mop the floor. I don't think they're going to get mopped by the Buffalo Bills. I don't think the Buffalo Bills are going to sweep the Miami Dolphins, anything like that. So the record that I have for the Miami Dolphins is 6-10, which I think is pretty solid. Like I said, I really like this Dolphins team a lot, but they have one of the toughest schedules in the NFL. I mean, you're facing like a lot of teams who I feel are going to be in the playoffs. You're facing, I think New England should make the playoffs. You're facing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're facing basically 6 7 teams that I think could make it to the playoffs. So, I mean, they have a very tough schedule. And, I mean, this is one of the toughest and most difficult schedules in the NFL going into 2020. So, I think the Miami Dolphins go 6-10 this year. I think this is still a very young team. I don't think this is a Miami Dolphins team that is going to be terrible by any stretch of imagination. They're just going to have a pretty tough schedule. And a couple of these games could go either way. Like, they could win that game versus the Chargers. They could win that game versus the Rams. But, I mean, I think the Dolphins are still a fairly young team. I still think they have like a year to go until they become like a legitimate playoff team or a playoff contender. But overall, I think this is a very solid prediction for the Miami Dolphins. Let me know what you guys think about this prediction down in the comment section down below. Make sure that you guys like the video and subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and content. And thanks for watching.